to A Healthy Table, a program by the University of Florida IFAS Extension. This is your team of program creators. My name is Virgilia Zavala and I'm an extension agent in Orange County. Today we're going to talk about how to fight back or keep food safe from bacteria. Let's get started. Let's talk about foodborne illnesses. What are they? What is a foodborne illness? A foodborne illness is a sickness caused by contaminated food. This means that either the food itself had some bacteria, viruses, or parasites that got you sick, or the person who was preparing your food may have been a carrier of these bacteria, viruses, or parasites, accidentally transferred them onto the food that you ate, and then that got you sick. So what's the big deal? What's wrong with just a couple germs? Actually, there are about 48 million cases of foodborne illness in the United States each year. This is an estimate by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That means 1 in 6 Americans can catch a foodborne illness each year. If you've never experienced a foodborne illness case, consider yourself lucky. From these millions of illnesses, there are about 128,000 hospitalizations each year. And that's sad enough as it is. What's even worse is that these hospitalizations can lead to death in some cases, and typically the estimate is about 3,000 deaths per year from foodborne illness. So it's something we want to avoid at all costs. The great news is that in order to keep our food safe, we can do this by following 4 simple steps. Clean, separate, cook, and chill. This is how we fight back against bacteria. Let's start with cleaning. We want to wash our hands with soap and warm water for 20 seconds before and after handling foods. We also want to wash our produce. We know that our food grows in the ground, and while that is perfectly safe and natural, that means that the food can also bring with it some bugs that were hidden in the dirt, some bacteria or viruses. And so we want to wash it before we consume it to minimize our risk. We can also clean surfaces that we'll be working on, such as our cutting boards, by running them through the dishwasher. That way we know that they are receiving very hot water, and that can help kill off some of the bacteria. And also we can keep our countertops clean by washing them with hot soapy water before and after preparing food. When it comes to separate, what we're trying to avoid is cross-contamination. Cross-contamination happens when the viruses, bacteria, or parasites from one food, typically something raw, make it onto something that is ready to eat. You can think of salads or sandwiches, something that you're not going to cook. So if that happens, we have a higher risk of becoming ill. What you can do to prevent this is you can use one cutting board for raw meat, poultry, and seafood, and another for ready-to-eat foods or vegetables. You can also practice separation while shopping. So in your grocery cart, you want to keep your raw meat, poultry, and seafood and their juices apart from other items in your cart. You can wrap them in the plastic bags that you get at the store, or you can put those foods at the bottom and off to one side and put your other foods elsewhere. The same is true in the refrigerator at home. We want to store our raw meat, poultry, and seafood in a container or on a plate so that the juices don't drip down onto other foods. And this is a true story. This has happened once in my household, and it was not my fault. But what happened is we ended up with this sticky mess of poultry juice all over our fridge because it dripped from the top drawer all the way through the bottom. Cooking. When it comes to cooking and food safety, we need to make sure that our food is cooked to a safe internal temperature. Now, how do we tell if a food is safe? We use a food thermometer. Using a food thermometer is the only way that you can tell if a food is cooked to its safe temperature. You cannot tell simply by looking or touching or knowing how long it has been on the grill or stovetop. In the materials for this program, you will find a chart with all of the safe cooking temperatures for meats or any kind of raw animal products, as well as reheating leftovers. If you're cooking or reheating something in the microwave, then you want to make sure that you rotate the dish and its components throughout the cooking time to prevent cold spots where bacteria can survive. Also, if you're cooking a sauce or a soup or a gravy or reheating those, you want to bring them back to boiling to make sure that they're at the right temperature. Last but not least, we want to chill our food. We want to refrigerate it promptly. We want to make sure that our fridge is cool to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below, and we can make sure of this by using an appliance thermometer to check the temperature. Some fridges only have a dial gauge that goes from 1 to 10. That doesn't tell you what temperature your fridge is at. The only way to truly know is by inserting a thermometer into your fridge that you can keep an eye on for food safety. Your leftovers, your takeout foods, even your groceries, you want to put those away as promptly as possible, hopefully within 1 to 2 hours. And if you're cooling something down that you've just cooked, put it in smaller, shallow containers so they cool more quickly and you can get those foods in the fridge. This last one is pretty important. We want to make sure that we thaw our meats, poultry, and seafood in the fridge, not on the counter, not in the sink, so that we can make sure that our food is thawing at a safe temperature. Your fridge does not kill the bacteria that is on the food. It slows it down from replicating or multiplying. So while we're thawing food, we want it to be done at a temperature that's not going to cause a lot of bacteria to grow really quickly. If we do it on the countertop, that's exactly what we're doing. Bacteria love ambient temperature. They love to multiply and replicate. And so we want to slow them down. We want to refrigerate our frozen foods until we're ready to cook them. Give yourself enough time to do so. And that's it for food safety. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You see my email on the screen so that we can help you fight back and keep food safe from bacteria. Thanks for listening and happy cooking.